Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. We're actually at my kitchen table. It's amazing. We're still having work done in the basement. Actually, new work done in the basement for the third time. It's a mess. I don't want to talk about it. Thank you for all your kind words. Hope you guys are having a great day. We're going to hop into a Monarch market update. We will have regular market updates all week. Don't need to worry about anything. If you want to support the channel, head on over to KitchenTableTCG.com. Go to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. Gets you access to a collection tracker. There's a fly going on that gives you access to a collection tracker that tracks the values of collection in real time with my market updates. So yeah, without further ado, if you want to support the channel, that's how you do it. Let's take a look at the sealed product of Monarch. First edition boxes. I'm painting them at around $260 this week. If you search on eBay, I can't show you all the sold listings because I'm using a different computer. But about $260. There was one that sold for $275. There was one that sold for $250 on eBay. The price is kind of, still all over the place. We're really trying to figure out who is buying Monarch First Edition right now and what the price point is. Unlimited on TCG Player right now, you can pick it up for $65. And there's also sold listings on eBay. I know Channel Fireball has been selling cases as auctions that are ending at around $200, which is under very cheap. It's cheaper than what I would pay for a box. So it is what it is. That's the way boxes are going right now. Let's see if we can beat this kind of $260 price point to see what the market's at on first edition. Before we get there, let's actually take a look at the Great Library of Solana. Great Library of Solana. There's two sold listings. One of them was for an 8.5 and another one was for a raw copy that actually looked pretty decent. Both of them were around $1,200. So $1,225 I think was the raw copy. That's the one I went with. That's down 21% this week. The regular unlimited one is actually starting to see a little bit of play. So it's hyping up a little bit of price point. Also, I don't think that there's a ton of people that are opening boxes. So unlimited one's at like $245 right now, which is slightly up. And that has flatlined, as you can see. It's just kind of flatlined in price. And this one's a little bit of an increase from the last couple weeks. So let's take a look at first edition. Let's see, is it worth it to open a $260 box? Is that what I put out? $260 box. Starting out with the legendaries, we're down 3.5% to an average of $245. You're going to see at the end of this video, the legendaries are super important for your EV in a box of really anything flesh and blood. So they add a ton. So you really want to be opening up a case. If you're opening up a case, you get about 1 to 1.3 legendaries per case of Monarch. So there's a chance that you'll actually get 2 legendaries, which is pretty cool. But you've got the Phantasmal Footsteps, which is up 19%. Now, keep in mind, there are people who have gotten 0 legendaries in many cases. So Phantasmal Footsteps is actually up this week to $375. That's up 19%. Carrion Husk is a little bit soft this week at $290. Vestige of Soul is actually up at $245. Valiant Dynamo down to $200. That's down 24%. Doomsday also down to $165. That's down 26%. And Eclipse is sitting at $200. Eclipse is definitely the one that most people are looking at other than outside of Doomsday. It's definitely the instant that people like more. You can see we're kind of hitting this inflection point with these cards. I think some of them are going to start bouncing up. Like Footsteps, I don't see it going down past, like, the last week was at 315, which I think was an auction last week if I remember correctly. I don't see it going down much further than that. We're just kind of hitting that inflection point where people are going to start getting serious about buying them and dollar cost averaging their expensive purchases from release week. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the Cold Foil Commons. Oh, sorry, the Cold Foil Majestics. My bad. Galaxy Black and Luminaris both going up. These are the two more sought after Majestic Cold Foils. Luminaris at $300, Galaxy Black at $525. You can see, like, Luminaris, it peaked, the kind of release date was at $800 and it dropped all the way down to $265. This is where I start thinking you're going to start seeing some people, if you want to really take a look at it, if you paid $600 to $800 for this, you're paying 1/3 of the price that you paid back then. So it really averages out your values. If you start buying at the $200, $250 mark, and that pushes it to like the $400 mark, and now your average is the value that you paid. Now your average that you paid is at the current value. So I think some people are going to start dollar cost averaging around these prices. You got Hexacore, the Death Hydra, that's down to 160. Raiden, the Duskbane, at 130, and Dread Scythe losing a ton of value. Although last week's sale may have been a little bit high. I remember last week we were up on Dread Scythes quite a bit. Let's actually pop that up for you so you can see it. And this week might be a more accurate price based on what it would be. Let's just let that load in for 1 second. You can see a little spike in the sale price, and that might have been just like an expensive sold listing. I think it was on TCG Player last week. So let's move on to the common cold foils. A lot of softness here. We're at an average of $52.73. That's down 5.8%. The only one kind of going up is the Halo of Illumination, which continues to be the kind of sought after card. I think it's really got the most eye appeal of all the cold foil commons. That might be adding something to it. But you can see these have not really found a home yet. They haven't found somebody who's interested in them. You've seen some of them, like Hooves of the Shadow Beast, that are really, this is the same price as kind of Ironhide stuff. It's interesting that these haven't quite found a home for collectors. I guess the people who would want them opened them in first edition boxes, and I know at the Road to Nationals this week I had a lot of people that were trading them in. So it's interesting to see all that stuff happening. You can see the average is down 5.5% to an average of $52. Looking at first edition extended art rainbow foil majestics. Mark of the Beast, there was one that sold on eBay for $150. That is down quite a bit from where it was at a couple weeks ago at $225. So yeah, you're seeing it. That's what's driving the prices down. The other ones, there's not really anything for sale at lower than what they were sold for last week. So your average is sitting at $212. Looking at your first edition rainbow foil majestics. All in all, we lost another 2.5%. This week, your average is around $16. Tome of Divinity, which has been seeing some play, up 27% for $18.50. Lumina Ascension also seeing some play. Soul Shield also seeing some play. We're starting to see a few Bolton builds pop in, even 1 or 2 Prism builds hop in, and that's kind of taken some of the value away from the chain cards a little bit, although chain is still the boogeyman in Classic Constructed. And first edition prices for Monarch are affected by the meta because the game is so, the set is so new. So you are seeing some of that stuff happening. Meanwhile, Nourishing Emptiness losing some value, Herald of Erudition, which is losing some value, and Genesis also losing some value. So you can see a lot of stuff happening there. If you take a look at the most valuable cards and the least valuable cards, there's some movement. But really what's the highlight for me is Tome of Divinity, Lumina Essentia, Soul Shield, all cards that are played in some of those light decks are all kind of going up in value. And looking at the regular majestics, Sonata Arconics I think was kind of a fluke price last week at $2. That's just too cheap, I think, for a majestic first edition card. That's probably what the market saw. But meanwhile, Nourishing Emptiness, Mutated Mass, Celestial Cataclysm, Shadow Puppetry, all the ones going up. You can see Celestial Cataclysm, another one of those light cards. This one is a generic light card, going up 10%. Shadow Puppetry, another card that's being seen tons of play in chain, going up 7%. And then you get your Soul Shield that has held its value. So you can see a lot of stuff moving on there. Invert Existence losing a lot of value. Beacon of Victory losing some value. Luminaris, the first edition, non-foil, just not really super sought after. So you can kind of see what's going on there. Your average is at $4.68, which is down almost 5%. Looking at the rainbow foil rares, just keep in mind on rares and commons, I do not look up the individual prices. I just use TCG low. On the rares and commons, you've got some movement going on, but it's kind of hard to gain exactly what is happening. You got the shields are kind of moving. Soul Harvest is moving. It's just hard to exactly tell what's happening. Maybe we'll look at Unlimited and see if there's anything we can gain about the current meta based on the cards that are being purchased. The regular rares, Unhallowed Rites, Plowthrough, Phantasmify. Unhallowed Rites has been at the top of the list for a while. It just keeps kind of going up. Vexing Malice, the same thing. Those are both chain cards that are highly utilized and highly played. As we look at first edition Rainbow Foil Commons, you can see Riftbind is on there, Seeds of Agony is on there, lots of cards that are utilized in chain, again going up. and that's kind of the boogeyman of the set and the way that things are working. So let's take a look at the first edition value per set, the EV, the expected value, the estimated value. If you want to include all the cards, which you really shouldn't, this includes the commons, you'd be sitting at $266. Let me just tell you right here, if you go to ev.kitchenttabletcg.com, you can actually pick and choose what you want to include in the EV of these videos, and it will give you the EV that is free. It's not part of the Patreon. It's just something I wanted to do for the community. Thank you to Joe for helping me get that set up. But if you take out the commons, you'd be sitting at an average of $237 per box. But if you don't want to include yourself, the hitting the Great Library or Solana, you'd be sitting at $207. And then if you hit a box that doesn't have a legendary, on average, you'd have be about $123. Keep in mind that includes all the common rainbow foils, which do add common rainbow foils do at $24 to that expected value. So you can kind of pick and choose. Like what I would probably do if it were me is just include the majestics and the cold foils and see what the EV is there, because that's pretty much what you're going to be able to move. Maybe include some of the common cold rainbow foils and then, you know, subtract $12 from it or something. Either way, I don't think it's super wise to open up a $260 box. You are not going to get your value in on average. Even if you opened 40 of them, you'd only be sitting at around the $230 price point. So it's probably not worth it to open up boxes of first edition Monarch. So let's talk about Unlimited. See if it's worth it to open up a $65, but if you go on eBay, it would be $50 box of Monarch Unlimited. So let's talk about it. Carrion Husk lost some value this week down to $145. Now that being said, there's not currently one on TCG Player available for that price. This was just the price that had sold out the most this past week. So $145, $155 kind of be a price point. Phantasmal Footsteps is actually going up to $160. Vestige of Soul at $125. Eclipse is at $70. Valiant Dynamo at $68. Doomsday at $50. You can see the legendaries are going up about 0.4% to an average of $103. And so that's where we're at with the legendaries. Lots of movement there, not ton to gain. You're seeing, like I said, these light ones moving up as there's more people hopping into Bolton, more people hopping into Prism for their builds. Rainbow Foil Majestics, again, same thing. Bolting Blade, Celestial Cataclysm, Arclight Sentinel. You're seeing a lot of newer decks being tried for these classic constructed events, and that's what's driving the prices up on those ones. But I don't see a ton of people ditching Chain either. It just seems to be maybe moving from other heroes into more Monarch heroes. So your average Rainbow Foil Majestic price is sitting at $6.53. Your regular Majestic price is sitting just under $4 at 46% down. Sonata Arconics on that list again, so maybe I am wrong, and maybe there was something to be said about the gameplay of Sonata Arconics. Dimensional Crossroads going up again this week. Beacon of Victory, another Bolton card going up. So you can see, Soul Shield holding its value. That's really evening out with first edition. Lots of movement going on, lots of conversations going on, I think, on deck building and meta decks and that kind of thing to be had. Looking at your foil rares, you're seeing Unhallowed Rites again at the top of the list. Vexing Malice actually lost some value. Merciful Retribution, you're starting to see some of these Prism cards pop in. What you're not seeing is any of the Brute cards hop up. But I am seeing some people try. I think Levia, whatever it is, placed top 4 this past weekend, which is pretty cool. So anyway, you're starting to see a shift in the meta. Let's see what's happening with the regular rares. You can kind of see some of that. Oh, there's your Pulping. Unhallowed Rites, I guess it's not super clear right now with the unlimited rares either, or maybe I'm just wrong. But Vexing Malice still up. Actually down 1%, but Herald of Triumph, so lots of Prism being purchased. So that's what's happening. Let's take a look at your foil commons, and then we'll get to the EV. You're looking at Illuminate, Bounding Demagon, Seeds of Agony. Again, a lot of the same stuff I've been saying, a lot of meta shifting, a lot of stuff going on there. Your average regular foil common is sitting around 77 cents. So let's take a look at the EV per box. Right now you're sitting at 132. Don't worry about that. That includes the commons. There's a million of them in the box. No regular commons, just the Fable, just the foil commons, sitting at $95.65. If you take out the Fable, you're at $89. And here you can see the importance of hitting a legendary. If you don't hit a legendary, it takes out $35 of your EV. You'd be sitting at $54. Keep in mind, again, this is not free gambling. With a $55 box to hit a legendary, make some money. You'd have to sell all the rainbow foil commons. You'd have to sell all the rares. You'd have to sell all the majestics. So keep that in mind. Again, head to ev.kitchenttabletcg.com if you want to kind of place out your own EV structure. I would say right now, I mean, it's probably still worth it to buy singles. Unless you need legendaries, you want to buy a case, it's probably worth it to buy a case of Monarch Unlimited right now, especially if you can get it on eBay for $200 from those people who are selling it that low. And yeah, keep in mind, all this stuff is just the numbers from eBay sold listings, TCG player sold listings. And if you want to have access to a collection tracker to see the value of your collection, head on over to KitchenTableTCG.com or patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. Also gets you access to Discord server with, we have games. And actually, I'm going to make a post today that you will actually get $5 off at one event per month. So if you want to just play the game and you don't care about this stuff, it would make the Patreon free as you get access to the Discord server and the events and stuff like that. And then in addition, we do have a Genesis bundle that went out today. So make sure you check out my video from earlier today. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. And we will see you again probably later tonight. Actually, I think we're going to do 3 videos today. I got to get a box opening in for some patrons that missed out this weekend. So hope you guys have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. And we'll see you later.